Motion, I would entertain a motion to deal with the road district budget. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion. We go with HTRD 06102-019 budget and appropriation.
Okay, so we have a motion by Fian and a second by Kayla.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Fian,
Yes.
trustee Alford,
Yes.
trustee Davis,
Yes.
trustee Cruiser,
Yes.
Yes.
supervisor Martin,
Motion carries. And then your next motion is for the township budget and appropriation. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion also, that we approve HT 2019-0610-ORDR.
Okay, we have a motion by Fian, do we have a second? We have a second by Alford. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
trustee Cruiser,
Yes.
trustee Davis,
Yes.
supervisor Myers,
Yes.
trustee Alford,
Yes.
trustee Fian,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Now I would request a motion to conclude the public hearing, return to the regular meeting. Do I hear such a motion? I will make the motion.
I will second the motion.
We have a motion by Myers and a second by Alford. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will conclude the public hearing and return to the regular meeting. Our next order of business is our accounts receivables and payables, the accounting. Do I hear a motion? To
I'll make
approve?
that motion.
We have a motion by Kalis, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Fian to approve the May 2019 accounts payable and receivables. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
supervisor Myers,
Yes.
trustee Fian,
Yes.
trustee Alford,
Yes.
trustee Davis,
Yes.
trustee Cruiser,
Yes.
Motion carries. At this month, we have no line item transfers, we have no request for funding contributions. Highway Commissioner DeVivo's report.
I'll make it brief, Madam Supervisor. The road program this year is concentrating on one subdivision in Chickasaw Hill, which we call it our oldest. We'll be opening bids on that Wednesday, the 20th, I believe, at 2 p.m. I'll get you that exact time, Madam Clerk, to assure that. I'll make sure I get it.
I thought you said 1 o'clock.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, I'll get the exact time to you. I have had a call into the engineer for sure. That bid opening is part of a publication, and an IDOT publication, so we gotta have to hold that.
But maybe in the future, you don't check with her before you schedule the bid opening.
We'll do that. There's that. I'm also been requested, not an official petition yet, but to accept the road, Lindsay Lane, in the unincorporated areas. This is about the third time in my term as a highway commissioner that somebody has asked me to accept a road. I know we vacated one once, the process is pretty much the same. And both of the other occasions, once I met with the residents and they realized what they had to do before we'd accept the road, they backed down right away. This is a little different. These people have the wherewithal. You know, once I told them that the road had to be brought up to our standards and we'd have engineers look into it. They have the funds, they want to redo the road to IDOT standards, and then they're going to petition me, and then we'll go through the motions of accepting that. And of course, Jerry, I'll be contacting you on that to assist us with that as well. But as soon as I get a petition, I'll get it to you right away. I guess that's what actually starts the process.
Yeah, I don't know. So they would like petition the highway department
To accept the road. And, in every instance, it's always been where it was a private drive running across lots. This is already a platted road right-of-way of 66 feet wide. So it's there. That was always the most difficult part. This is platted as a road right-of-way. So they just are going to upgrade that to our engineering standards I already have our engineers looking at it, and everything will be done to our standards. Like with any subdivision, we take over the roads, it has to be brought, built to our standards. And then, they'll petition us and we'll go through we have to have a public hearing, I believe, on site. Right, Jared, it's pretty much like vacating.
It's like vacating,
Yeah.
except the reverse.
In the reverse. So as we go through these motions, I'll keep the board, informed.
Yeah, I'm sure, and then just so that we can make sure that, we get the agendas with the public hearings
Mhm.
with all the things,
Yes.
if you just keep close communication,
Yes.
we can do it, yes?
Okay. And that's my report.
Alright, thank you. Karen?
Just working on new commercial properties that are, knocking people over.
Oh, that's exciting. Did you, last month you reported on some issues with, maybe, was it the disabled veterans exemptions or something?
Yes, we got them all cleared up.
Oh, very good.
Cleared up all our, freeze and everything has been cleared up.
I think
With
it
the
came
county,
with the
yes, we
county.
worked with the county very closely
County had some
and got
issues,
it all straightened
like
out.
a
Yes.
glitch with their software or something?
Yes.
Very good. Alright, very good. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, Kathy Krizak.
I'm looking for approval or a motion for the regular board meeting from May 13th.
Do we have a motion to approve the May 13th regular board meeting minutes? I will make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the May 13th regular board minutes, meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Oh, yeah, abstain, actually.
So you're retracting your nay and
correct.
turning it into an abstain? Okay, very good. So we
Over and Gates are abstaining.
Yes.
So we have 3 yeses. We have May 13th, 2019 executive session board meeting minutes, and we will require a motion to approve with or without release. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve it without release.
I will second that. Is there any discussion or anything that needs to go into executive session for discussion? Hearing none, will all those in favor of approving the executive session minutes without release indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So we have Oford and Kalis abstain, and 3 affirmatives.
And then we get a boy tracker report for May 2019.
Thank you. We'll go on to the supervisor's report. Intergovernmental agreements, as we discussed earlier, the Will County CDBG program, Homer Township and Lockport Heights Sanitary District. You have been presented a final draft of the CDBG grant agreement, including exhibits A and B, and a motion is required to approve the agreement and direct the township supervisor to execute the documents. Do I hear such a motion? Anybody?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? I will second. Okay, go ahead. I would personally ask.
Go ahead.
George?
I'll second. Sure.
Okay, second by Alfred. Is there any discussion on the motion? No discussion. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Alford,
Yes.
trustee Fields,
Yes.
trustee Kalis,
Yes.
trustee Kruzak,
Yes.
supervisor Myers.
Yes. Motion carries. We have received the first of 2 payments that HAC is contributing towards the fencing improvements. The second one is due October 15th. Regarding the recording and publishing of the township board meetings, basically, it is broken down into several aspects as to whether or not this will be video or audio recording, the publication format and methodology. We do have to integrate the recordings with the minutes, comply with FOIA requests for those without electronic means, and maintaining permanent storage. I have reached out to LCTV. There is a possibility that they will I've also spoken with our IT specialists and some other professionals, trying to get some ideas and recommendations for the other issues regarding publication and storage, as mentioned. I'm still waiting to get more information on that as well. We'll go on to the facilities and property management. In a senior housing facility, all the rents and leases are current. There are no vacant units. The administration building, the main entrance of the building will need to be closed for a few days as flooring replacement work is beginning this week. It's actually begun. We will attempt to keep the building accessible to the public by directing them to the side entrance of the building when necessary. Morris Park, the Homer Soccer Club is requesting to extend their season by 1 week due to the excessive rainfall this year. Don't see a problem with that. The storage shed planning, the proposed location of the new shed was incompatible based on the underground existing utilities. We worked with our irrigation contractor because those types of lines don't show up with Julie. And they've also identified existing locations and some lines that were in that one location. Julie has been scheduled to mark additional lines and underground utilities. John Guzek and I did conduct a site visit, and we evaluated a couple of location options based on that information. Once the site is identified, we'll be able to move forward with the preparation of a required site plan, solicitation of proposals, and completion of the Will County permit application. Town Center Parks and Sports Fields, the insurance claim regarding damage to the backstop safety netting has been reopened with Torma. We did reach out to other contractors. We did, as of today, updating from when the agenda was prepared on Friday. As of today, we have received one proposal for a repair of the netting and one to replace, and both will be submitted to our insurer for their decision. We have reached out to contractors for proposals to replace the football announcer tower windows, as I spoke earlier, and we have been advised, and it is very, very much, there are some issues inside the building if you go inside. At any rate, both of the professionals did not feel it was in their or our best interest to replace the windows without getting the corrections done first.
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
So I apparently then, what we got here from Passion a few months ago, I know you and I spoke about it afterwards, to move forward with getting a more entailed scope of work at the building. But after reading this, it's almost like, to me, it's almost like they're solving a problem. I mean, they want to put a moisture barrier up, they want to redo the sills, put up the proper flashing, and again, a moisture barrier behind, they want to take down the siding, if I'm reading this correctly, yeah.
Well, basically,
So
what they're saying.
I'm just kind of curious, and I know the building might have other issues, okay? But for me personally, I think we should move forward, at least getting a proposal from Passion on what it would cost to do this.
Well, and
I think maybe we should start from the top and work our way down.
well, and we have had other opinions that felt we should have gotten a structural engineer a while ago. And also, this is what Passion and another professional is recommending, that just simply replacing the windows, first of all, the windows aren't really even leaking. It is that they are literally rotting out. And, well, and they're recommending that we get a structural engineer to actually prepare to assess the building and to prepare a
I
scope
think
of
that
work.
was after Passion was there, so they changed their mind, is that it?
No, that is what they're recommending.
Well, I'm just reading what the email I got. The limestone sills are pitched backwards towards the inside. You said pitched out.
Right. That is their opinion, but they are not structural engineers. They're contractors.
Okay, I'm just saying, I don't see anything here saying we need a structural engineer. That's all I'm saying, and
Well, I don't know what you're looking at, but I'm just telling you that I spent over an hour on the phone with their construction manager, and they are recommending that even to be able to move forward with permitting and with, you know, the proper stuff, somebody has got to assess the building professionally, not an opinion of a contractor, and lay out the scope of work to
Okay.
remediate.
Then maybe I get confused then because, for whatever reason, so this project superintendent from Passion, from the Job Order Contract Division, he's
Yeah,
not
his-
knowledgeable in structural, I take it.
Well,
then?
he doesn't have a degree in structural engineering, he's not capable of signing off on a permit like an architect or a structural engineer would. He's giving, his opinion as a contractor of 30 years, what he thinks needs to be addressed prior to replacing the windows, but a structural engineer would be able to assess the full scope and decide what all needs to be done.
I mean, my only concern is then because obviously if this is the path we're taking, okay? I know their season starts soon, and we still have a piece of plywood in that window. Can we at least do something to put it, whatever, because that's horrendous.
Well, I'm sure that there are other options that we could do besides having the plywood on one, you know, a board up on one window.
I mean-
I don't know how essential the window is to filming, because that is really what the tower is for, is only for filming the games. Excuse me?
Announcing the game.
And announcing the game, but I'm saying, it's not like we have children sitting up there or anything like that.
I would just-
However, I'm sure, to answer your question, perhaps we can look at maybe getting some plexiglass or something temporarily. I don't honestly know, but I'm just telling you what the professionals have told me, and we've brought it to the board as we do everything in full transparency and as I'm required to do. And if the board would like to follow the recommendations, and have the structural engineer, I'll do my best to get one out there ASAP, and that's the best that I
Do
can
we
do.
have, I mean, because I don't know, is there, I mean, what type of cost are we looking at for this structural engineer? Or we just don't have a clue yet?
You know, I don't know, we've used
Okay.
structural
Alright.
engineers for other things, do
Okay.
you remember how much we paid them?
Mhm.
How much?
Hmm.
Oh.
I don't remember,
I'm sorry, I thought you.
No, actually, I don't remember that,
Okay.
I was just, okay. Like I said, all I know is when I read off the email, and that's my opinion, and I'm just not a member of the board. Thank you, that's all I had to say, Supervisor.
Can I ask a quick question?
Is the board okay with, giving us?
A quick question. At what point do you decide that a structural engineer is needed for a project?
Well, in this
Excuse me.
point, we didn't decide, the board is deciding that tonight, but it is based on the recommendations of the professionals that have reviewed the, building and claimed that there are some, and I've seen what they're claiming, and I think you have too, there's a huge amount of moisture, there's spalling on the roof.
That was from the past with the roof being bad for so
No,
many years.
it was not, and in fact, our insurer has actually confirmed that the roof had nothing to do with the moisture
A leaking
issues.
roof didn't have to
That's
do
why they
with
wouldn't cover, and the windows didn't either, that's why they wouldn't cover anything with the windows. To the best of my knowledge, listening to the professionals, I am not a structural engineer, I am not a contractor. What I am being told is that there were some faulty construction, methods on the siding. The building has really never, to the best of my knowledge, been sealed, the windows have been sealed, we did caulk the seal, let me finish, Danny. The limestone ledges are tilted inward, and water runs between the brick and the masonry blocks on the inside. And that is most likely one of the contributors to the moisture that is in the building. Inside the building, I've been in there several times, and it's worse than I've ever seen it, and I'm sure, because we've had such a huge amount of rain this year. But, you know, spalding is when you're on the inside and you can take your finger and the blocks are starting to deteriorate and can be actually scratched away. So I'm not a professional, I'm only going with what the professionals say. But I don't think it's gonna hurt us one way or another to get a professional assessment, and most likely any, major work or any work that's gonna require permitting, most of the time, the county or the village will require either an architect or a structural engineer to, weigh in on the permitting process. So I don't think it's money in vain, and, you know, as you brought up, you know, safety is very important. So we wanna make sure that everything is in good working order, and we don't wanna, you know, spend, you know, $12,000 to $20,000 on windows and find out that in a couple of years, they're doing the same thing, rotting out because the exterior of the building is holding and retaining way too much moisture. Let's go back to the agenda, and, a motion is needed, if you wish me to enlist a structural engineer.
I'll make that motion that you go and look into a structural engineer.
Okay, do you want me to just look into it, or do you?
Well, we may as well look into it and hire somebody to do it.
I mean, we have, vetted resources, we've gotten 3 structural engineer opinions in the past, we can, you know, use that same thing and try and speed this thing up and get somebody out there as soon as possible. I don't know what their schedules are like, I don't know what it is, but with your, approval, I would like to get this done and not wait till another board meeting and bring back proposals to you and stuff like that. If you're okay with it, I can inform you along the way, as to what our results are, but we do have, professionals we've used in the past, and we can dip into that resource.
Anything to move it along, I guess.
Okay, so we have, a motion by Ian, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
And we have a second by, Kalis. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Kalis?
Yes.
Trustee Kruzak?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes,
Trustee Orford?
Yes.
Trustee Fian?
Yes.
motion carries. Last month, we had, presented Township Hall window replacements that we were asked to go out and get proposals for, which we did. It was tabled until, the June meeting, which this is now. So we would need a motion to accept the proposal for the repair and replacement of the town hall windows. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, Ian and Olford. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Orford?
Yes.
Trustee Fian?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes,
Trustee Kalis?
No.
Trustee Kruzak?
Yes.
motion carries. We're going to address the Culver Park fencing repairs under the Park and Recreation Committee, on the agenda, and the Culver Park detention basin and the retrofit, the IEPA grant project. The work does continue, the project despite the rain. The contractor has begun brush cutting, spot treating invasive species, erosion repairs, and the native plant plugs installation. That concludes my report. Do we have anything under the Military and Veteran Affairs Liaison from Karen?
The only thing I could say is there were several memorial service going, at different locations.
For D-Day? Okay. Let's go on to our Township Committee reports. We do not have a chairman at this time, and so therefore I will do my best to
Last
fill
meeting,
in.
she told them that they were opening up
The Township
Legion
Annual
Hall
Parade,
inside Marion
supervisor
Village.
and staff
She didn't
continue
know.
to absorb those responsibilities. The parade is scheduled for June 22nd. We have received numerous former participants returning and a few new ones. We are requesting assistance from officials and staff to assist and/or enlist responsible volunteers to direct and operate the event next Saturday. So far, looks like everything is starting to fall into place. Movie in the Park. It has been a cooperative effort between the library and the township, and it's been predominantly done at Cinder Park and Story Walk Trail. A date needs to be set prior to mid-August when we have a rain date credit that we have to use up. Again, we are requesting assistance from officials and staff to assist in managing and operating the event. And I do have an update regarding that. It is my understanding that, the SRAs are planning the party in the park on July 22nd. It might be, in the township's best interest to plan, the movie in the park after that, when it's
Yes.
dark.
I think that's the way it worked out last year.
No, last year we got
The
rained
movie-
out.
But I thought the timing was basically, one right after another.
Well, they were
Sunday.
close, they were
Yeah.
close, you're right.
Okay.
And, part of the reason for that is we do have to order extra porta potties and, we do a little extra spraying for mosquitoes and things like that. I did, put out an informal outreach to the library and
You know
they
that
felt
line
that
that
it
we
would be
spend
possible
money
to
for
do that.
longevity for
I
special
would like to
needs that
contact
we
the
don't have,
SRA,
that
just,
they
I
do
know
nothing
that
for.
they,
That's the
it's
SRA.
not that they
It's a
are,
collaborative
it's going to
effort
affect them, but I
within
wanna make
Lake
sure
County
that they
in northern
understand
Illinois.
that, we wanna do
That's
this
right.
and maybe it would have a
He asked,
difference
where's
as
the
to
money
where they're
going?
locating stuff, cause, we've got that window.
We don't
we've
do
gotta
anything.
take stuff down,
Because my
and,
daughter has
then we
special
wanna
needs.
keep
I get
parking
nothing.
open
I
and
have no
stuff.
doubt that Lincoln
That's
will
okay.
be contacting the
Just like
admin
with
office
nothing with
anyway to
seniors.
get all
Seniors
uh,
fall in with special
paperwork.
needs here.
like we
Oh,
do.
I'm sure,
So
but
if
it'll be
SRA
good,
is
yeah.
If you wanna
outside
plan
group
that,
coming
movie
in
in the park,
to do
Yeah.
I don't
something.
think before after's gonna make a big difference.
No, cause I think you guys scheduled,
Those
the
are
party in the
my
park for like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it goes from 6 to 7:30, I do believe.
Right, so it doesn't go down until, a little bit after 8 anyway, so it'd be kinda nice to then,
You might wanna do it right afterwards.
well, that's what we're talking about, yeah, that is to just maybe transform, when they do the story walk trail, they do like a challenge from the library, so that would, it would just transition from one event to another, so it could work out. So if the board does not have an issue with us trying to go for that, double date for the 2 events,
Last year when they did the SRA, they were basically like in the middle of the park.
yeah,
So where we would have the movie in the park was at the other end, it wouldn't really
yeah.
require them to shut down.
Yeah, and, again, it's a good use of the resources, I mean, we have to always do that extra porta potties for the parade and for these events, and so, it would save us having to do it a week later or like that, so, or pay extra money on it. So, that being said, the last thing is that I am looking for some direction from the board, or some input. The committee chair for the events is vacant, and I don't know how you would like to proceed, if you'd like, what you'd like us to do to, fill the vacancy. Would you want the board to just absorb the events, stuff based on each committee? How you'd like to proceed, I need some input.
What have we got that they take care of other than the parade?
Well,
Like the movie in the park, do we have a lot of things that would require people and time?
at this time, no, because again, we have downsized, from the events that we have done in the past. And it is difficult to do more with less, but right now, yes, it would be just, I think the events that we have planned are the parade, party or movie in the park, something, we usually do something for
The
Halloween.
Halloween party.
But at this point, those are all that I know of, unless the board, a lot of times, these events come out of the board, so, the boards bring these ideas, or wanna do stuff, so, it can be run, and, in the past, when I was a trustee, we didn't have an event committee. Whatever committee wanted to do some sort of an event, they were the one that had to manage it and organize it and bring it to the board. It just depends on, how the board wishes to proceed. Well, would you like me
Crickets.
to, let this ride and we can
Well,
table it
I
until
guess-
next month, or?
Has anybody volunteered that they want to be in charge?
Well, not to me, they haven't, or even serve on the committee, and normally we try to have an official on, each of our committees for our committee ordinance. How do I know, maybe one of you wanna jump ship and do events or whatever, I'm just looking for direction.
Well, my opinion is for now, we wait and see if we can find somebody. I've already volunteered to take help at the parade. I will obviously be involved with the movie at the park, so, I'll help wherever I can.
Okay. All right. that concludes, let's go on to open space planning and operations, Tom.
All right, so new year coming up. We did do a controlled burn on part of the property. It was just sort of a misunderstanding, of what they did and what we wanted them to do. They only burned a small portion of it. We have another, bid for $3,000 to burn the rest of the property. I would like the board to approve that so we can get it done. It's part of what's required from us in the, IDNR. It's never been burned to the best of my knowledge, and it's getting pretty rough in there.
So you need a motion, Tom?
Yes, I need a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion. Do we hear a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second, by Myers, second by Travis. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Kruzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kalis?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes.
Trustee Fian?
Yes.
Trustee Wolford?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, motion carries. Next, Tom.
I'd like to, we discussed it a little bit last month, get the board's approval to continue. We're talking about doing a junk in the trunk type sale. People wanna bring things to Trentina's. We will sell spaces and we will have, for lack of a better term, a garage sale, a community-wide event. At this point, it's a lot. We have come up with a date, August 24th, and we're looking at like 10 to 4. You'd be able to bring most anything with the exception of illegal items, and sell your wares. I don't have a budget at this point. I guess the only thing I'm really asking for is your approval to keep going and looking at doing this for August 24th.
Yeah, I think last month you asked for, the board's interest and now you set a date.
We set a date, we set time. We wanna go on further, but we can be sure that the board's going to say yes before we go on any further.
Yeah, I have no real issue with it. The only thing, as I always am saying, is I wanna, it's one thing to do an event, and it's one thing to, even try to do fundraising. But it's not worth it to put a lot of effort and a lot of, time and money into something that doesn't turn a profit, so.
Right, I agree.
I would be very interested in knowing that whatever is planned is gonna be kind of a self-managing thing that isn't gonna require us to hire, buses to truck people into the site, or, things that we've had to have expenditures for in the past.
My thought or plan is, so far as parking and that sort of thing, we've got several acres in front of the property where we can park. I'm not planning on busing anybody yet. It's gonna be, basically self-managed. We'll paint some spaces, we'll number them. Whoever comes up, they'll get a space. You have to clean up after yourself. The space will be empty when you get there. It'll be empty when you leave.
Well, the good thing about junk in the trunk is you drive it in, you're parking, and you have your stuff there, right? That's kinda interesting.
How much are the spaces?
I think they were talking, we were guessing about $30. The space would be basically long enough to put a car in it. I mean, we're actually thinking, so we're looking at a space, would be like 20 by 40. Well, we're talking junk in the trunk, and we're really talking people loading up their cars or a little trailer or something, pull in and sell right out of your space.
Okay, well, does the board have any strong objections to it, or what is the board's consensus? How would they like to direct Tom to move forward?
All right, we'll move forward then. Okay, the last thing, I'm looking for authorization. We've been talking about building this event center over at Trentina's. We pretty much know what we want to do, but none of us are designers. I'd like to move forward with this and pull some professional people in see what it's gonna cost to build us a building that would hold, I don't know, we're talking somewhere between 100 and 300 people. This building could be used for township events, it could be used for rentals, for weddings, meetings, dinners, whatever. It would be a profit center. We're not looking to lose money on this deal. We want to make this something that will help support open space into the future.
So if I understand this, you're looking for permission to hire professionals to discuss the grant opportunities and the site planning. I believe the committee would like to arrange some interviews with some of the professionals that the township has used in the past and see what kind of options and grants and things are out there for the next phase of the development.
They have to find a grant.
Yes.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Do we have a motion
There
and a
isn't
second? Is
even
there
any
further
parking
discussion
over
on the motion?
This is just for proposals, correct?
Yes, yeah, we're not gonna build, it's, yeah, to get,
Okay.
yes.
It's really, like it says, to discuss grant opportunities and site planning. Hearing no further discussion, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Trustee Kalis,
Yes.
trustee Cruiser,
Yes.
trustee Olford,
Yes.
trustee Fian,
Yes.
supervisor Myers.
Yes.
Oh,
Motion
yes.
carries. Is there anything else, Kyle?
No, I think that's about it. Summer cleanup was going on, things are looking pretty good there. We'll just keep going on day to day.
Well, I do have a question, and I'm sorry, Tom, I should have brought it up earlier, but, on the jump in the trunk, seeing as how everybody's talking about insurance nowadays, are these participants gonna be asked to? I mean, people coming, I don't know, it is gonna be on
They're always
township
looking for
property.
some fucking.
So is there gonna be insurance required of these participants, or is it gonna be a blanket hold harmless? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you like to
I'm not
charge everybody
sure
everything.
either. I would say that if you're gonna bring a vehicle onto the property, you're gonna have to have car insurance.
Okay, I mean, with everybody's
Yeah,
talking
I
about
don't,
insurance.
and, you know, we're not gonna have people riding in on motorcycles and that sort of thing. You will be required to have insurance on your vehicle if you're gonna bring it in. So far as the vendors, we haven't made that decision.
Okay, all right, that was my question, thank you so much.
So, talking to our insurer though, just to clear it up, individuals don't necessarily require insurance even in the parade or anywhere else. If we hire somebody, they are required insurance.
Okay.
If they're an organization, or a seller, professional seller, those types of things, but everybody is required to fill out a hold harm list. So, in the parade and all of our.
Okay, like I said, that was just a question, Thank you.
Reasonable.
It would be the same policy.
Can I ask you a question about, in this Tratina Farm development project, a couple of years ago, over 240 people, residents, taxpayers, voters, signed on to improve some improvements at the existing dog park. Are any of those now gonna be considered in this, development project in expanding parking, building sites, etc.?
Regina, you
Because
are
I think
out of order.
oh, sorry.
Thank you. Okay.
That answers that.
Let's go on to Parks and Recreation.